I needed dental care really badly. I needed my teeth cleaned, and I went to Mexico to get those services done. I know most of us are concerned about if we move abroad or we go to another country, can we seek really excellent health care above and beyond what we experience in the States? And I can testify that I recently did this in March of this year, and I had an amazing experience. So I needed my teeth cleaned badly. I sought out a dentist in San Miguel de Allende, and we're going to talk about it today. So at FDL Move Abroad Travel, which is my channel, I help women move abroad by addressing their residency, their fears, their logistics, and all the things, their finances. And that's what we do here on this channel. I'm here to help you. My name is Dion, if I have not said that already. And we're going to talk about dentistry internationally today. So, if you may not know, and I was stunned at this statistic that over 1 million Americans over 40 who are looking to retire or just have a better life seek dental care in Mexico annually. Generally, they have a 50 to 80% reduction in costs for dental care services. You also may know that people use Mexico and other countries to get superior health care at lower costs. Okay. So let's talk about my adventure in Mexico in March in San Miguel de Allende, Mexico, which is in central Mexico. Um, I wanted to take a scouting trip to San Miguel. Also, I was there to extend my residency, my temporary residency by 3 years. And while I was there, I thought, why not do some of the life things that I would be doing when I moved there after I retire in the next year or so. So I went into Facebook groups, multiple Facebook groups for expats who live in San Miguel. And I went into the archives and sought out any references, any great recommendations for dentists there. I also ended up seeking a dentist who spoke English. Not that that was a deal breaker for me, but since it was my first solo travel, international travel, I wanted to land softly as far as the dental care services were concerned. So I found an English speaking female doctor at Aerodent Dental Office. And I looked at the address in proximity to my Airbnb and decided that it was doable. It wasn't on the other side of San Miguel. And I realized once I took the Uber there and found the office, which was a little weird about finding a location, and we'll talk about that later. I could have walked from my Airbnb there, but wanting to land softly, I took an Uber because I thought the Uber driver would get me there with ease. He was confused. I was initially confused, but it all worked out in the end. So I arrived, walked into the office. With my American brain, I just expected that office to function like all the dental offices I had experienced prior. Wasn't quite the way I expected. Not that it was a bad experience, but I walked in and there was no clear reception desk, say for example. So I just stuck my head in the office and announced that I was there for an appointment. The ladies directed me to the waiting area and I waited, and someone was out promptly to greet me, give me a clipboard so I could put my dental experience on the paper. Then I was walked into the room, and the dentist herself cleaned my teeth. She took her time. She explained the process in English. She was very gracious. The office was very clean, comfortable, decorated very well. Fresh air coming through the windows. It was really a beautiful experience, and I'm glad that I chose that office. The cost of the dental cleaning, which was cleaning only, the American experience, my previous American experience was that I got x-rays, they measure the depth of your gums, all of those things, right? And they talk about treatment if necessary, but this was just was strictly cleaning, which is what I asked for. So I learned that as well, that if you want more services, then you have to ask for more services. They don't upsell you, as has been my experience here in the States, right? So dentists clean my teeth, polished them, everything I paid, which ended up being somewhere between 60 and 70 US, which I was happy to pay because I really needed the services. And I had a pleasant experience. So I was just like, phew, glad to have done it, glad it turned out to be a positive experience. But let me back up for a moment. The reason I sought dental care in San Miguel was because I had really fired my American dentist. I had tired of being upsold services. I was tired of being just not receiving really good customer service. I mean, they overcharged me $400 for a crown. And the reason I know they overcharged me $400 for a crown was because my insurance company deducted the $400 from the bill. So after that experience, I was just done. And so I didn't find another dentist in the States. And I thought I'd seek out services since I was going to Mexico anyway. And it turned out to be great. So if I can set aside your fears at all, I had a great experience. And I've heard that from other expats as well, right? So to add more depth, as Black women in the United States, we're taught and we buy into the story that premium healthcare is in the United States, right? And that any other healthcare is in another country is a substandard service, or it's a third world country wherever you're going in the world, right? So I refuse to buy into that narrative, which is why I sought out services in Mexico. If you like what you're hearing so far, friends, please hit the like button, subscribe. It helps the algorithm push my content to other viewers, and it helps my new YouTube channel grow. I appreciate any comments that you have where you're talking to me, we're engaging. This is a very friendly family. And I would love to hear if you've had any experiences with dental care abroad or any healthcare abroad. Any information that you're sharing with the family is helpful, right? And that's why I'm sitting here sharing my experience with you so I can help with any fears that you may have, provide any information that you may find useful if you're deciding to seek dental care, specifically in San Miguel, but even international, right? How I booked my appointment. Let's talk about that. How I booked my appointment, I found the dentist, as I said, by researching on in the Facebook expats groups. I contacted them via WhatsApp. A lot of the services in internationally are done via WhatsApp. So I contacted them, told them what I wanted to get done. They gave me they asked me when I wanted to come in, and I gave them my availability, which is the day after I arrived in San Miguel. They confirmed the address, and so I showed up, and everything, as I said, went swimmingly. So you can find doctors that speak English if that's what you want. These dentist offices don't really function very differently than what we've experienced in the States. Um, so I think we just have to reduce our fear that there is going to be some crazy experience because it's happening in another country, and that's not necessarily true. They did communicate with me in Spanish on WhatsApp. I want to bring that up, but that was okay because I'm learning Spanish. So it gave me an opportunity to practice my Spanish and speak to them about some services that I needed, which is what I'm going to be doing when I retire. So I felt like it was helping me live the life, right, of a retiree in San Miguel. And I'm pretty sure that if I needed them to speak English on WhatsApp, they would have. What I really want to stress is that, we can open our minds. We can open our minds to shift the dream of getting superior dental care or health care while traveling abroad or living abroad. It is increasingly important in this climate that we're living in the States, as we age in place, as I'm aging in place, that we seek out the best health care that is available to us in retirement or just traveling, right? Because what I found in these expat groups and in conversation with other Black women who travel or bop around the world, short term or long term or retiring abroad, is that healthcare is one of our top priorities, right? Next to safety. So, in order to shift our perspective, we must accept that healthcare is better abroad. It truly, truly is. It's not of we're going to put you in a financial poorhouse kind of deal. Um, it is important that at this stage of life that our freedom, our health care, and our flexibility is at the top of our list of priorities, right? As we age and as we move throughout this world. So again, if you like this content, please hit the like button. The thumbs up button is free. Subscribing button is free, and hit the notification bell so that you know when I post my next video, which should be about my travels, my daily experience, day in the life when I was in San Miguel in March. Okay. I also want to draw your attention to some resources that I have in the description box, which is one of them is the ExodusSummit.com quiz by Stephanie Perry and Rashida Dow, which helps you look at countries that would be good for you to move to. I also have a Nubio.com link, which is a cost of living comparison link. You can compare two countries, cost of living items, even bread, jeans, shoes, cars, rent, all those kinds of things, right? I also have some Excel spreadsheets, which are saving, paying off your credit cards, budgeting, things like that, which you may find useful. I also want to recommend that you get in community. It is important as we transition to this next phase of our lives. It is retirement or becoming an expat and moving abroad, that we get in community with our fellow Black women. There's a lot of information out there. They have helped me tremendously, and I'm here to help you. And so it really is helpful to go through this process because it can be a little scary. It can be a little overwhelming sometimes. So getting in community with your fellow sisters, ExodusSummit.com/community, which is hosted by Stephanie Perry and Rashida Dow, is very helpful because there are women all over the world who are in various stages of living this life, right? So lastly, I would like to draw your attention to a free item I have pinned to the top of the description, which is my Move Abroad roadmap, which gives you 10 steps to help you walk through this process. And it's something that I put together when I started this journey, and I still find it to be very helpful to women. So if you um, hit that link, you'll put in your email, and then you'll automatically get that roadmap. It is free. And lastly, you can book a call with me. As I said, I'm here to help. Any questions that you have, I'm here to help you. So thank you for watching this video all the way through. Like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and even share. Share this with a Black woman who can use this information. I didn't have some of this information when I started, so I am so grateful if you share this with a Black woman who this can help. Okay, friends, thank you for visiting the channel. Again, thank you, my subscribers. Thank you, my new subscribers, all my friends out there in this YouTube world and in these international streets. I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Bye, friends.